Hey everybody, this is going to be a quick follow-up on the storms that are about to hit the Gulf. You have Marco that's going to come in first. You're going to have Laura that comes in second. It says Houston area back in the forecast cone for both Marco and Laura. This is what I kept talking about. I could see it in the models that many of them were still running them into Texas, even as far into South Texas. And, there's a lot more going on here than what they're telling you. Okay, we now know that they're going to be releasing millions and millions of genetically modified mosquitoes into the Keys. They say it's not being done right now, but I don't believe it. In either way, it doesn't matter if they are or they aren't, because they're attacking you with these storms. Okay, it says Marco is already in the Gulf of Mexico and has strengthened to a hurricane. Laura will be there soon. It says Houston's Hurricane Marco's path changed again with the 4 p.m. update Sunday. It remains a Category 1 storm, but the new Hurricane Tracking Center has it taking an earlier turn to the west, putting the Houston area back in the forecast zone. You remember how I said I believe they were targeting Houston and Louisiana, Houston and New Orleans, that area, with these two storms, and how they had already crisscrossed and how the paths actually switched? Well, look, it did it again. Now they're getting back into what I thought they were going to do: have one storm hit around Houston, have one storm hit New Orleans, hit Louisiana. Okay, and we're going to get into how they're saying Hurricane Marco is a Category 1 hurricane. I'm going to show you something that I just don't understand how they can show this on live TV and still say that it's a hurricane. Okay, here, let's just show you that right now. Can you explain that? Did you see the wind gust, the winds, sustained winds as it hit? They're showing it right there. Nothing, absolutely hardly any wind as it comes on shore. That's them showing it. Well, how can they say that it's got sustained 75 mile per hour winds right now, but yet then they show it and they say, oh look, well there's a gust about 37 miles per hour, or sustained winds is what it's supposed to have. And then they show it actually hitting, Louisiana, and they show the wind speeds there as it's going to progress. I mean, they're showing you the timeline, 8 a.m., 8 p.m., and they're showing you the winds that are, predicted to be there. They're nothing. None of this makes any sense when you look at it on any type of forecasting models, windy or anything like that in old school. The mile per hour, when they put this up to a Cat 1, the highest I could get was 39 miles an hour on all of them. That's it. There is no way these storms are what they're telling you they are. So please, please wake up. And the one I'm more worried about is Laura. Meanwhile, Laura's path remains relatively unchanged after multiple shifts to the west. The Houston area remains in the forecast cone. The center of that cone is on the Louisiana-Texas border. We will have to watch this storm very closely as it moves into the Gulf and gains strength. Can you explain to me, too, how Hurricane Marco's path changed again? It's sitting in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico, right? Within only a few hundred miles of where it's going to go. Now, they can predict them. When Florence came, they predicted exactly where Florence would hit when it was literally only a couple hundred miles off of the African coast. But now, they can't predict it. You just see the lies over and over and over again, how they're just manipulating the weather and targeting certain areas. That's why I said, just be ready. Don't really stare at what they're saying. These storms are how strong they're going to be. Be prepared to each one of them be a Cat 5. I mean, I'm serious, because that's what happened with Michael. And they've already talked nonstop about rapid intensification. All right? So please pay attention to that, because it says Tropical Storm Laura picks up steam, So they're talking about this, again, how it's going to go into, these really warm waters. There is an increasing risk of storm surge, rainfall, and wind impacts along portions of the U.S. Gulf Coast by the middle of the week before it makes it to the Gulf Coast. The storm will drop heavy rainfall across Haiti, Cuba, and Jamaica throughout Monday. There's already been 5 deaths reported in Haiti, and I think 3 or 4 deaths in a couple other areas due to massive rain. It sat on them and just dumped inches and inches and inches of rain. Flooded everything out, flash flooded everything, killing people, trapping them in their homes. It's horrible. That is a modified storm. This is how they're attacking everybody. Please, please, please. Pay attention. All right, here they show it, and they're talking now. Oh, it could be a Cat 2 or a Cat 3, and that's what they just said on live TV. So, there we go. That's kind of where I thought it was going to be, between a 2 and a 4. I've been saying that for a few days, so I don't know why they're so off on it unless there's a reason, And think about it this way too. Okay, both these storms are going to do what? Dump a massive amount of water. Well, what's the greatest thing for mosquitoes to sit there and, swarm everybody? Standing water. I believe that is part of this. I believe this is, them using these storms in 5-6 different ways like they always do. So please prepare tonight. You may not have long, to get your family out, and they are literally shutting down half the shelters. They're already talking about that because of CV19, they have to social distance, and not only that, you have to have a mask on, you have to have your temperature checked. Trust me, they're herding you into these areas. Do not be unprepared, because then you will be at their mercy. Okay? You're going to have to go to their shelters. And then they said if they find people that, have symptoms or are positive, look like they're positive to CV, you will be put in different isolated shelters. I've been talking about this and showing this. So please, get ready now. If you're in one of these areas, anywhere close, go to some family. Take a little road trip, whatever it takes for a couple days. If you can do it, do it. If you can't, make a plan now with your family. Decide what you're going to do. Make sure all your family know the plan. We'll talk to you all real soon. Continue to pray against all these weather attacks and everything else that's being thrown against us. We'll talk to you soon. God bless.